As a young kid, I was always fascinated by sound itself, how you can manipulate it, what you can do with it, or what you can achieve with it. For example, it can bring thousands of people together, and each and every one is synchronized in a magical way. I feel like I'm one of the lucky ones that has been able to experience this for many years. Next to my career being a producer and a DJ, I always dreamed about creating the ultimate synthesizer. I'm Umit Ozcan, and I am the creator of Genesis Pro. I basically grew up with synthesizers. My older brother was already into making music when I was young. When he had extra money, he spent it on cool stuff like sequencers and drum machines. And I was a lucky kid because when he was gone to work, I would sneak in his room and play all day long with his cool stuff. Back in 2000, when the first VSTs came out, I was like, wow, this is amazing. A whole new world opened up for me because you didn't need any expensive hardware anymore to create music. So after a while testing out a lot of plugins and synthesizers, I also realized that they were all missing something. They were all great plugins, but they were just missing all those ideas I had in my mind. So that brings us to the point where I ask myself, why not creating your own synthesizer? In my opinion, a real synthesizer should have its own character. So when you start playing on it, you can immediately hear its signature. That's right in your face. I designed the engine and the structure of the synth in a way that it can create any sound you want. All the information I gathered the past 20 years about sound designing, making music, producing music, everything is in this piece of software. So just to give you an idea how it looks like from the inside. To make it easier for you to understand, this is the program where I created the Genesis in. You work with modules. You create and connect them with these wires. You connect again with more modules, modules and wires and modules and so on. So you can imagine, after 8 years, we have hundreds of thousands of connections going from one point to another. It's like a brain. Because that is what it basically is. It's a digital version of my musical brain. So when you open up a plugin for the very first time, it shouldn't feel like you're stepping into some maze full of knobs and sliders. No, it should feel straightforward. When I created the Genesis, I kept in mind it should be user-friendly for everybody. If you don't know anything about sound designing, you can still find your way. But if you're a sound geek and you're really into manipulating sounds, oh boy, you can go deep, really deep down the rabbit hole. Almost every knob you see on the interface has its own settings, and you can access these by using the multi-display. This gives you the possibility to go in real depth. As a sound designer, there are many layers for you to discover. It will probably at least cost you a year before you know all the features. We have 3 very powerful main oscillators, but each one is different and designed to have its own character. The Genesis is what I call a hybrid synthesis, meaning that it has all the essential types of synthesis built in. Combining the subtractive, the FM, the phase distortion, the multi-wave, and the ROM synthesis allows you to create a huge variety of instruments and sounds. Even though the oscillators are powerful by themselves, it doesn't stop here. You can use one, two, or all three of them and stack things up, or easily create split instruments, like playing a piano on the left hand and a different instrument on the right hand. You can morph between sounds using the morph slider. In multi-mode, you have full control over each oscillator and its own settings, like filters, ADSR, FX, just to name a few. So what makes the Genesis different is that it works with multiple layers. For example, each oscillator has its own filter assigned to it, so when you select a different oscillator, the panel will adjust accordingly. You can select from 8 different kinds of filters, which varies from multi-filter type to the analog, parallel, and serial types. With the saturation modes, you can give different kinds of characteristics to the waveform. I think it's important for a synthesizer that it sounds full and rich by itself without using any FX. The way I see it is FX should be there just to finish your sounds and give them the last touch, and not masking the quality of the synthesizer. But nonetheless, I created all the essential high-quality FX you can use. One of the essential parts of creating sounds is modulation. And with the Genesis, it's possible to modulate any knob you can see on the interface. Choose a wide range of waveforms as your modulation source. With all the comprehensive controls, you can truly make your sounds organic. The Genesis has also an easy-to-use step controller and 4 ADSR envelopes. The LFO, step controller, and ADSR can be routed to more than 100 destinations. If you want to modulate even more, with the Matrix, you can connect everything. I have built a complete master section where you can give your sounds the final touch. You have controls such as panning, master filters, limiters, but also wideness, where you have full control over your stereo image. Next to these essential controls, you also have Layer FX, which is the 4th oscillator, which can be used to add more natural or atmospheric elements like bells, animal sounds, rain, or thunder. So, one of the unique features of the Genesis is the Alpha knob. With the Alpha knob, you can easily link as many knobs as you want and control them just with one knob, the Alpha knob. The possibilities here are endless. Sequencing your sounds with the Genesis is easy. You have different kinds of sequencers you can choose from. You can either use the step sequencer, the arpeggiator, or just load your MIDI files using external MIDI sequencing. Next to perfecting the way it sounds, I also thought about so-called shortcuts that will speed up your workflow and make things a lot easier. For example, this is a chord that I have to play with 5 fingers. I can imagine for people who can't play piano or chords, this could be really difficult. So I came up with intelligent chord mode. These are the same chords, but now I can just play them with 1 finger. Quite amazing. Let's say you want to stack even more. With the layer mode, you can easily add notes on top of it. So when you start creating your sounds, it's often nice to have a little push in the back. For example, where you just grab a preset and start tweaking it till you find the desired result. But there is a chance that someone else will grab the same preset and tweak it too, and then the results will be similar. So I came up with an algorithm that will make this process easier and more unique. So what is XGen Tone Generator? I designed this tool to give you a head start. XGen automatically adjusts the oscillator settings to generate different types of tones. On top of this, we also have the templates menu. With just 1 click, you can easily load FX, modulation, or layering templates. Combining this with the XGen can reduce time to engineer your sounds. Another simple thing what I was missing with many plugins was neither of them had hotkeys, which can be very helpful, so I came up with hyperkeys. With hyperkeys, you have 8 shortcuts where you can assign many actions to by using Ctrl+1 up to Ctrl+8. I'm always looking for new ways to create sounds and music. With Dynamic Link, we can go beyond the boundaries of the synth itself and make it connect with everything from the outside. For example, make it react on your voice. Dynamic Link is an extra FX plugin that comes with the Genesis. After you load this into your FX channel, you can control or modulate the synth from the outside. For example, you can route any audio signal to modulate values. It's not only about what's under the hood. If it sounds great, it should look great too. With Picasso mode, you can completely personalize your Genesis. Easily change your background panel, your text color, your knobs, add extra graphics on top of it. Make it as cool as you want. The Genesis also keeps track of your work progress. It analyzes data such as your current session, your lifetime session, how many times you have loaded the Genesis, or how many sounds you have created. What kind of user are you? A preset user, a tweaker, or a real sound designer? So after 8 years of hard work, I'm really excited to share the Genesis, and I think it's gonna help a lot of producers out there, beginners and experienced. For me, it's important to share this with everyone. not only people who can afford it. So I hear you, okay, cool. What is the price going to be? Well, the price is going to be only €1. So why €1 and not 300 or 400 bucks? Because for me, I told you before, it's important to be able to share this with everyone. And the €1 is pretty much a symbolic price. I know in my career I did not spend too much time in making tutorials or helping out upcoming producers, because basically next to doing my shows and making music, I was spending all my extra time in finishing the Genesis. But after 8 years now of hard work, it's finally finished. And this will be my contribution to the music industry.